Hello and welcome to this very special broadcast on News Mobile. I am Saurav Sanyal. And as we celebrate Independence Day, no discussion about independence can ever be complete. No celebration about Independence Day can ever be complete if we do not talk about one towering personality, one of the bravest sons that Mother India has ever produced. If you're wondering who we are talking about, he's none other but Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And I'm privileged to have with me today two very special guests, Chandra Kumar Bose and Abhijit Ray, grandnephews of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have both of you with me today on the program. Let me get started with you, Chandra Kumar Bose. 124 years since his birth, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and his legacy lives on. As we celebrate Independence Day, what are the thoughts that cross your mind? What is it that makes him so alive even now?
Jai Hind, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is still alive in the minds of 130 crore people of our nation. He was a youth leader, and his appeal is particularly among the youth of our nation. Just the other day, I had an interactive session with youngsters. And when we were talking about Subhash Chandra Bose, the kind of excitement I noticed in the eyes of the youth who participated in the discussion. You see, today, Subhash Chandra Bose is remembered as a personality who united all religions, communities as one. You see, in his Azad Hind Fauj, he implemented what is so relevant today. He implemented one nation theory, but he also implemented one community, one religion theory, and that religion was Bharatiyas. You see, Bharatiyas united to fight for India's freedom. Of course, the Azad Hind Fauj was the final onslaught on British imperialism. There were many who sacrificed their lives for the freedom of our nation, right from 1857 onwards, from the Sepoy uprising, right up to 1947. But the final nail in the coffin was the Battle of the Azad Hind Fauj and subsequent INA trials, which were held at the Red Fort in 1946, completely destroyed the loyalty and allegiance of the British armed forces to the British High Command. These are not my words. If you see the secret documents, British intelligence documents,
Right.
General Auchinleck, who was in charge of the British armed forces at that time, wrote to the Viceroy that we have to relinquish India before it is too late. So it was the Battle of the Azad Hind Fauj and the INA trials, which was the final straw in nail in the coffin for the British imperialists in India.
Right. So as you pointed out that, the one unifying force that he dreamt of was that all of us are Bharatiyas and will always be Bharatiyas. And that was one common bond that in a way tied all of us together. Abhijit, if I could bring you in. Now, when you see the tricolor flying high today, what are the thoughts that cross your mind? I cannot but help think about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and his unfurling the tricolor. If you could just throw some light on that historic day, what really happened that day?
Well, when we see the tricolor being flying high, the one thing which comes to my mind is actually 30th December 1943, when Netaji himself hoisted the tricolor in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now in Port Blair, thing is, in the greater East Asia Asiatic Conference, Prime Minister Tojo of Japan, he declared that as per the agreement we have had with the provisional government of Azad Hind of Free India in exile, we are uh, promise bound to hand over the Indian territory to the provisional government of Azad Hind in exile. By that time, Japan had already captured or occupied, what you say, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So, according to that agreement, the Andaman Nicobar Islands was handed over to Netaji, and Netaji, along with his few cabinet colleagues, he went to Andaman, and in the Gymkhana ground of Andaman, he hoisted the national flag and named the two islands, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, as Shahid Deep and Swaraj Deep. Unfortunately, after independence, we do not know what happened. These two names were forgotten, and once again, these two islands were named as Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now, what we would like to demand that this particular chapter of history should be written in the textbook, should be documented in the textbook so that people know that the first Indian national leader, true secular and socialist, or having socialistic ideas, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was the first Indian leader to hoist the national flag even before 1947, 15th August, in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Second thing which comes to my mind is the date of 15th April 1944, when Azad-Hind Fauj was marching towards India, and along with the Japanese army, they crossed the Indo-Burma border and entered the northeast sector of India, in Manipur and Nagaland. On the 14th of April 1944, it was Azad-Hind Fauj's Colonel Shaukat Ali Malik, a commander in the Bahadur Brigade, which was a guerrilla brigade, INA. He, on behalf of the INA and on behalf of the provisional government of Azad Hind in exile, he hoisted the national flag at Moirang. So I think the best way to celebrate the Independence Day should be on the 14th of April, because that was the symbol where a flag was hoisted at the on the Indian soil, which was due to a fight won over by the Indian National Army. It was a territory which the Indian National Army fought against the Allied forces, not the British Army only, mind you. At that time, it was the Allied forces,
Right.
which the British Army, the American Army, the French Army, the Canadian Army, and the Australian Army. So that was the great victory, and they captured Moirang. And for more than 3.5 years, 3.5 months, I beg your pardon, 3.5 months, there was a fierce fight between the Allied forces on one side and the Japanese army and the Azad Hind force on one side. And today, organization of the British Army ex-officers, they have stated that that was the most toughest battle they have ever fought in World War II.
I'm sure that the Prime Minister, who has spearheaded the cause of declassification of all the files which were wrapped in dark and dusty closets all these years, will definitely, once he's interacted with all of you, once he's heard all of you, he will definitely take an informed decision regarding that. Two quick points quick 30 seconds each. Abhijit Ray, any particular anecdote about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, the young Subhash, when he was growing up, that you would want to share with our viewers?
I would like to, I was just thinking when Chandra was speaking, you see, after the first war of independence in 1857, there was a great repression from the British Raj, and they did not allow any nationalistic movement in the country. The first nationalistic movement which we saw after 1857 was in 1905, when the British wanted to divide Bengal.
Yes.
And against that, there was a mass movement led by none other than Rabindranath Tagore. And that Rabindranath Tagore, he tied the Rakhi in everybody's hand, and he named that day as Rakhi Bandhan, where the Hindus and Muslims, they embraced each other and tied Rakhi in each other's hands. Now, after that, you know, the revolutionary movement slowly and slowly emerged. And after that 1905 episode came the incident at Muzaffarpur, where Khudiram Bose and Prafulla Chaki, they heard bombs on a horse carriage where Kingsford was supposed to be there. Unfortunately, they missed the target. Kingsford was not there. But that was a major blow. And what we saw, Prafulla Chaki committed suicide while being chased by the police, and Khudiram was hanged till death. Netaji at that time was a mere student in Ravenshaw Collegiate School. And after a few years of Khudiram's, martyr's day, he used to stay at home and attend school in Ravenshaw Collegiate School. But he had a link with the hostel mates. So he went to the hostel and he told every student that today we will be going on a hunger strike to remember on this particular day Khudiram Bose was hanged.
So it had an indelible impact on his thinking, it had an indelible impact on his mind, and that shaped in a way what Netaji became eventually going forward, and his philosophy and ideals. Absolutely. As we wrap up this discussion, Chandra Kumar Bose, I would want to ask you, just if you were to just sum it up in 2 lines, how do you think that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, that how is he so relevant, his legacy is so relevant even today?
You see, we really appreciate the NDA government under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji inaugurated a museum inside the Red Fort premises. This was inaugurated on the 23rd of January 2019. But you see, Subhash Chandra Bose cannot be restricted within the 4 walls of a museum. Netaji's ideology and message has to be preached across the country. Subhash Chandra Bose and his elder brother Sarat Chandra Bose stood for communal harmony, united all communities, all religions as Bharatiyas. I think this is a message that should go to the youth of our nation. After all, they are the future of our nation. And I think it is the responsibility.
They are building blocks as far as India is concerned.
Exactly.
It will be taking India forward. Right. And as you rightly pointed out, that the ideals and what Netaji stood for, his beliefs, his thoughts, would all culminate to making a stronger and a better India. I must thank both of you for joining me on this very engaging discussion. We hope to catch up with you again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.